Hello, I am Jason Wilson. I am an editor here at theScore, and with me today is Ramone Russell, a game designer and community manager for MLB The Show 19 and previous iterations of the game as well. Welcome, Ramone.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. First off, with Bryce Harper being on the cover, how much of a worry or how much were you guys sweating when he didn't have a team leading up until late February with the game release a month away?
Oh, we weren't sweating at all. It was all part of the plan. Bryce Harper was a once in a lifetime athlete. It was his free agency. It was one of the biggest sports stories of the entire year, and we really wanted to capitalize that. And Bryce was amazing, and we really think we were able to tap into the craziness, which was his free agency.
Yeah.
And we have this beautiful cover with him in a Phillies uniform. So for MLB The Show 19, we really looked at a lot of player feedback to see what really worked last year, what are the things people were excited about, how can we give them more of that, and also looking at the things that didn't work as well, and how do we rectify that. Most people kind of tune out after the All-Star break if their team isn't in playoff contention. So what we needed to create was some type of a mechanism that was really focused in on your team and your stories, and basically the expectations of what that team it's going to have in the coming season. Mm-hmm. And so as they continued to work on this idea, it kind of morphed into this brand new game mode. It was something that was pulled out and it was separated, and it's one of the two new game modes in the game called March to October.
You want to walk me through some stuff?
Absolutely.
In the game? Awesome.
So jumping right back to March to October,
yeah.
Once you just start in the mode, you're presented with this screen. And like I mentioned before, all of the teams are grouped into a certain subset, a tier. So we got long shots, underdogs, contenders, and favorites. Toronto Blue Jays, they are a long shot. You're projected to win 68 games. But we can change that. So we're actually going to choose the Toronto Blue Jays.
Sure.
After we select them, we're presented with the difficulty level. And so as you see, as I'm changing difficulty level, I'm changing the prize package that I'll get. And then we're going to jump right in, and Heidi Watney is going to also tell a very specific story about the Blue Jays and how they're starting the season. If we were the Red Sox, she would tell a different story.
100%.
And we're going to jump in opening day. I think we're going to be in the 6th or 7th inning, and that's how basically every major moment in March to October is. You're always going to be jumping to a game at a key moment.
Matt, this club is not widely considered to be a contender this year, so most experts would caution their fan base to temper their expectations.
All right, so you always start March to October in the first episode, which is opening day.
Yeah.
You want to get that opening day momentum.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump out, and then I'm going to reload another Toronto save file. That's a few games past, and we're going to be in the 9th inning. And we're going to see if we can win this game. Because if we can win this game, we'll get some positive momentum, and we'll see how momentum affects the simulated games that you don't play.
So there's another one of the changes to pitching this year, about the primary pitch and secondary pitches, and you can't use the secondary pitches primarily.
You can't spam them. Pitchers throw their number one pitch, whether it's a fastball, a two-seamer, a cutter. They tend to throw that pitch a lot, over 60% of the time.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw's not going to throw 50 curveballs a game. He's just not.
Right. Yeah.
So what we did was, and this is mainly for online.
Okay.
Your pitches past your dominant pitch, the controls start to deteriorate. Mm-hmm. And if you start to abuse them, you'll really start to lose control of those pitches, and those things will happen.
On the ground to the left side.
And this should win us this ball game. Honestly, now we got positive momentum because we were cold last game.
Yeah.
And just because we have positive momentum, it doesn't mean we're going to win every single game. As you see, we just lost that game. There's 2 losses.
Do you have any hitting tips? Because that's always been my hardest.
That's not just you. It's everybody.
Yeah, I can pitch fine most of the time.
So hitting in the game, and as in real life, you failed in baseball 7 out of 10 times, and hitting in MLB The Show is difficult for the vast majority of people, as I just popped up on the first pitch.
Yeah.
So what we've done is, on All-Star on down, the game's a little bit less forgiving. Pitch speeds might not be as fast as they were last year. Timing windows might be a little wider.
Right.
And we're trying to do things to help people become better at the game, because what we found out last year, or during the offseason, most people that play the game struggle at hitting. So what do we need to do to make the game not necessarily easier, but more accessible? And how do we give people avenues to get better at the game? On the flip side, at the very, very top end, for our guys that play Diamond Dynasty or they're very competitive, we found out the game's not nearly hard enough.
Right.
Like, they need even faster pitch speed. So we think we've tackled both of those things twofold. On the high end, on Legend difficulty, probably the fastest pitch speeds we've ever seen. Really small timing windows. The fastball integrity's back. But for everybody else, this is like 98% of the people who play the game, on All-Star on down, the game's a little bit more forgiving.
Okay. And you said there was 2 new modes. What's the second of the new?
The second new mode is called Moments, and it's about playing, reliving, rewriting baseball's most iconic past. So Kyle Blake and the design team, they created Moments as a way to give you these shorter, bite-sized pieces of gameplay that are very specific to certain points in MLB history. So, for instance, we have a Babe Ruth storyline where you're playing these different moments in Babe Ruth's career, which was really iconic, and we're asking you, can you do what he did? Or we're going and saying, hey, you remember when Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. hit back-to-back home runs? Do you think you can replicate that? And moments could be an inning, a moment could be an at-bat. It could be a 3-game series. It could be a 7-game series. It could be 11 games. It can literally be whatever Kyle Blake and the team decides they want to make.
How do you make sure that Road to the Show and franchise aren't kind of falling by the wayside? Like, how do you make sure that they still are beefed up to the level they want?
Road to the Show is our most played game mode by far. Like, if you looked at the total amount of games played in Road to the Show, it trumps everything. And then there's Road to the Show, Diamond Dynasty, and then the rest of the game mode. So people love creating themselves or their fantasy guy.
Well, as someone who grew up playing like a lot of like Final Fantasy and RPGs.
I mean, Road to the Show is an RPG. It has a lot of RPG elements. And here we're looking at the archetype screen. And again, there's this big change. We got rid of those caps that people didn't like. But we didn't go back. We really invested, and Steve Merkel was like, we'll remove the caps and you can be a 99, but it's going to be a lot harder. So for every archetype, you have major, medium, and weak training areas. So your major attributes, these are the easiest to train, the easiest to get the 99. The medium strengths, they take some effort. And the red, these are your weak attributes. These are the hardest to train. And that's where trying to get this guy to a 99 comes in. You can still get those attributes to a 99.
It's just going to take a while.
But it's going to take a while.
Sure.
And then after you choose your archetype, we've added in player personality. Like I mentioned before, the lightning rod, the maverick, the captain. And there's no right or wrong choices. All of these choices, these govern the DNA tree for the perks that you'll unlock. And through the dialogue options when you're playing Road to the Show, this is how you'll unlock these perks. It comes out March 26th.
March 26th. That's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Wow.
Be here in no time.
All right. Thanks so much, Ramone.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you for having me.